Eh? Still doing the thing with the intro videos now throwing in like a picture. Getting better at this. Getting better. What is up, you beautiful bastards? I'm Chris from Circle of Geekdom, and I've been up since 3:45 a.m. Central Time because I'm in Texas, and I've been playing Shadowbringers since right about 4:05. Was able to do the preload last night. Got up this morning, made a cup of coffee, and I was initially really concerned because my queue in line was like 1,002, and when I was starting up the stream, I was thinking like, oh my god, this is gonna be like the first hour and a half is gonna be me just like sitting waiting for this thing to go that countdown hit zero. But it wasn't nearly that long. It took me, like I said, maybe at the very most it was like 10 minutes at the absolute most. But was able to get in, saw some folks from my free company, took some screenshots up here. So minor spoilers if you are either going to like zoom in and see what these images look like or the content or whatever. But did want to give my initial thoughts on the game so far for playing for like I said, like 2 hours and like 15 minutes minus a quick break, and mildly zoning out because again I'm only operating on about 3 hours of sleep. But so far I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a lot of little details that I tend to gravitate towards. So the art style of the new continent, Novrath, I think is what it's called, is absolutely stunning. The music, they obviously with every new expansion pack, they change the quest acceptance and quest completion music, and I really, really like that one a lot. Um, and the general story this time too is really, really interesting. A lot of mystery going on right now. I have no idea of central villains. I'm starting to get a understanding of what's actually going on and the big threats that you're starting to deal with. I had a vague memory from before when I was doing the last of the Stormblood expansion stuff about the essentially the headaches that the Scions were getting, and then they basically go into these comas, and you're trying to figure out the mystery of that. I do understand more of what's happening for that now too, and the first hour or so of the story does give you a really good feel of like what's actually happening to the characters, and a little bit more explanation as to the guy with the crystal hand, the crystal exalt or exart, like who he is and why he brought you over. This is also going to be, for me personally, a different experience versus playing Heavensward and Stormblood. So I've talked about this before in my podcasts, but because I had these very long breaks in between playing Realm Reborn, Heavensward, and Stormblood, I had massive, massive amounts of rest experience. So much so that by the time I even finished Realm Reborn story content, I was pretty close to hitting 60 already. And then definitely by the time I finished Heavensward content, I was already at 70. I think, or like 67. So entering Stormblood, like I blitzed through the story campaign pretty easily. So this is now the first time where I'm entering into the game at the right level and be able to do the side quests because that'll give me some extra experience. And also now knowing that how more important the ether currents are now too, I can now enter these new territories and actually do those extra side quests and look around and find those currents so I can fly around and travel a lot easier now in this new continent. But so far, like I'm digging it. Like you are very much a fish out of water because you're now entering a new reality. In this case, the first, which is from according to the story, like when Hydaelyn and Zodiark, the two main deities in the game, basically had a falling out. It required Hydaelyn to basically create, for lack of a better term, like alternate realities, and with each reality having a different balance of light and dark, and the first now being the source being kind of like a nice balance, which is why weird shit goes on, but it's not like one side tips more over than the other. This is a world now where it's almost entirely pure light, so much so that there is no nighttime. So I'm assuming then that means that it's safe to assume that there's not going to be like changes in the in day. So like when you play in Realm Reborn through Stormblood, you obviously see like nighttime, and then the environments change. You're probably not going to be seeing that. I don't think, even just for the sake of just story content, that you probably won't be able to see. Like I'm assuming you're going to like solve the mystery, and you're going to bring darkness in and create more of that balance to the point where you might even get nighttime effects. I probably am expecting you won't see that, like just period, just because other folks need to play through the story content. It's gonna, I'd imagine, it'd be really difficult to like have it where if you beat the story content, then you get nighttime, and if you haven't, it's still permanent daylight. I think just maybe that transition would be too difficult. So I'm assuming, just based off that technicality, that even when you beat the main story content, and assuming you bring balance, the game will still have like a permanent day feature to it. That's my guess. That's absolutely my guess for it. I'm assuming maybe at some point, maybe like at a 5.1 or 2, when people finish the story, then there'll start being more of a nighttime effect to it. I'm guessing that. Or maybe there is a way to do it where if you've beaten the game or beat the story content, then you'll see nighttime. Assuming that's how the story plays out. So this will be a bit rambly too, because again, lack of sleep, and like my thoughts right now are super jumbled right now, just because it's been a really interesting experience so far. Got to see my first the Viera race. My free company's leader Loxy used a Fantasia to become a Viera as well too. I think they look kind of neat. I really do. She has a lot of the jobs already unlocked too, so I was able to see her transition into her different costumes. And I think it looks kind of neat. So, and I've seen a few Hrothgar running around in the story as well. So, yeah, the fact that they're all integrated really differently, or already into the new content, I think is really interesting. And so far, at least in terms of story stuff, all I've really done at this point is check out like the new major city, the Crystarium, and they tell you to go to like a few different spots, just so you can kind of get a lay of the land, and so you can also get the ether crystals around, so you can start teleporting. And the game does also kind of give you a little bit of backstory in terms of what's been kind of going on so far. What's kind of like the culture for it. So I think it's a neat idea that they want you to explore and also interact with folks, just so you can see how different this world is versus the source. So one thing I think it's a little weird, but again, it's for stories content, it makes sense, is that they also do kind of assure you that, hey, by the way, you know, your gil from the source will work here in the first. Time will move at the same pace as as it does in also the source too. So, yeah. So essentially, you get kind of lucky that you happen to stumble upon a period of time in the first where basically like time moves at the same pace and your currency works too. So again, it's nice that you don't have to go out and you're not starting all over again. So if you had like millions upon millions from crafting, which I don't, you don't have to start all over again, which, okay, that's cool. I get that. That makes sense. It's a convenience for it. I think it may have been a little interesting if you did have to start completely from scratch with no currency for, but I could also see how that would be insanely frustrating for those who've been farming for years and now have to start all over. So I get that. Like I said, this is absolutely not a drawback by any stretch, but it's going to be really obvious for anyone who's ever played MMOs. Again, for me, this is still pretty new concept. Because this is all new, all of the major story points are now completely surrounded by folks too. So like destinations you have to go to, like the quest I was doing before I logged out, there was like at least 36 people there. So knowing where to actually stand and where to trigger the next event was a little bit challenging, but I'm not even remotely upset at that because it makes complete sense. Like everyone wants to play through the story content, or they want to start working on the dancer or the gunbreaker classes. Me personally, I'm going to be I want to do gunbreaker, but I want to go against type and try the dancer class. I just think that one's interesting. I've heard a couple of concepts that like you can partner or select another ally during dungeons, and then you basically are going to like the perks that you get then transfer to that other person as well too. I might be off it. Like again, super tired. Drank most of this coffee already, and still about ready to go back to bed. So yeah. Visually, I love it. The new music, I'm already really digging. I can't wait for the soundtrack to come out so I can buy that and put it on my Google Play account, or unless it comes out on Spotify or Amazon Music and you can listen to it for free. But I probably will still buy the physical soundtracks since you get exclusive mounts for doing that. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else for it too. The because I do primarily play a red mage too, there have been a couple of changes already in the interface. A couple of my skills are gone and replaced. I noticed that even in combat already, like just fighting like regular minions, like I must have done it, maybe fought like 10 or 11 things, and I've already been able to cast Verholy and Verflare, I think 4 or 5 times already. So the combat mechanics for my red mage have improved, where I can start casting my ultimate spells a lot faster, which I dig. And went over to the what are they called? I'm drawing blank right now. Like little bells when you get your where you send your little folks out to get ventures. Oh my god, I can't remember it. Then I can't remember the name right now. I'm sorry. But your little companion character who will basically hold your retainer. Good lord. Again, if I knew how to edit, I'd cut this part out, but I don't know how. They changed the retainer mechanics a little bit too. They changed the glamour plates, so instead of having 10, I think you can now have 15 or 20, which is nice because right as you start off in the game and do a main story quest, they do give you coffers that have level 385 gear. I have higher level stuff than that, but I like the designs of them too, especially for the red mage. So I can I'm creating a new glamour plate for the stuff I'm getting, and yeah. So a couple little changes like for that I've been digging. In short, right now, like I said, I've been rambling for about 12 minutes. It's a great start to the game. I'm really, really excited for it. I dig the new races. I dig the new story content. It has this air of mystery, so I'm really compelled right now. Like, if I wasn't so tired, I'd still be playing right now. But it's so far it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, the combat feels a little more streamlined or a little bit faster paced. And maybe that's also because I'm playing a DPS again versus playing a tank for the past few weeks. And again, it's just something new and exciting for it too. Like the best way I can kind of describe it right now is it kind of feels like I'm in Disney World again, and you're just seeing something so out of the ordinary. So it's a new essentially, for lack of a better term, it's a new continent. It's a new reality, but it's a continent that you get to explore now. That changed the art style, the new races, the new everything now. It just, everything feels so brand new and so just exciting because there is that new, like that new mystery of what's going on. Like, what have the signs been up to? Like, how are you going to actually resolve this story content? Like, all of that is just, I want to play, but I need sleep. I need to at least get a couple of good hours of sleep in. So yeah, I will be streaming this through most of today. I have a buddy of mine from Dallas is coming down to visit, so I'll be spending. I won't be playing through most of this evening through Saturday. I won't be playing, so I want to get as much in as I can. But then on Sunday there will be a heavy stream day because I really, really want to play a lot of this and learn more about the story. And I will be doing more updates and more kind of like quick video reviews of my experience so far with it. But for the first 2 hours and change, I'm really, really, really digging it. Can't wait to play more. Want to find the rest of this, find the Scions, see what they've been up to, see how how they've been reacting to living in the first for so long. And yeah, but let me know what you guys think too. Are you digging it? Or do you like the Gunbreaker class? Do you like the Dancer class? Do you like the new races? Do you like the changes to the combat, to the changes to the mechanisms for it too? What do you like? What do you not like? Let me know. But until next time, I tip my hat to you as only a Mandeville man can. And I will see you in the game.